I've lived around these mountains long enough to know which stories are just campfire bullshit and which ones carry a little too much weight when people tell them. The corridor was always the latter, whispered about in pubs, shared in deleted threads, the kind of thing you laugh off until something makes you stop laughing. Last weekend, the curiosity finally won. I told myself it was nothing, just an old fire trail with weird geometry. Packed light, water bottle, pocket knife, headlamp, a charged power bank I didn't really expect to work. Drove out past the last sealed road, parked where the dirt turned red and angry, and started walking south on a bearing that felt right. The change crept in slow. 1 minute the bush was alive, magpies arguing, wind rattling dry leaves, distant truck on the highway. Then it wasn't. Not quieter, just gone. Like the world had hit mute on everything except my own breathing and the crunch of my boots. Those sounds felt too big at first, echoing in my skull, then got swallowed the moment they left my mouth. I kept going because turning back would have meant admitting I was already scared. The trees opened, not naturally. They parted like reluctant curtains, revealing a straight line of bare earth cutting through the pines, 3 meters wide maybe. Dirt packed hard and dark, the color of congealed blood. No undergrowth, no fallen needles, nothing growing on it at all. The pines on both sides leaned in at the same slight angle, branches almost touching overhead like they were trying to stitch the gap closed. I stepped onto the path. My heartbeat thumped loud in my ears, then died flat. No echo, no reverb, just gone. I walked maybe 100 paces. The corridor stretched on, dead straight, no end in sight. The light filtering down turned thin and sick. Everything tinted the yellow of old bruises. That's when I saw the words. Not carved. The bark had grown into them. Raised ridges of wood and hardened sap, weeping slowly. Stay, repeated down both walls of trees, letter after letter, getting taller and more jagged the deeper I went. Like the forest was screaming the same warning over and over without sound. I laughed, short, nervous, and the sound came back wrong. From behind me, muffled, delayed by half a second. I spun around. The entrance was farther away than it should have been. A tiny, bright rectangle between the trunks, shrinking as I stared. I turned forward again and kept moving. What else was there? The air grew colder, pulling heat from my skin like fingers. My breath fogged even though the day was warm. The leaning pines got worse, branches now brushing each other overhead, turning the path into a green-black tunnel. Then I saw the shape. Far ahead, hundreds of meters maybe, something stood dead center in the corridor. Too tall, shoulders impossibly narrow, torso stretched long and thin like dough pulled too far, head tilted slightly, the way a dog looks when it's listening. Not moving, just there. I stopped breathing for a second. It took a step, one long unfolding leg, then the other. The motion was wrong, joints bending backward and sideways in ways nothing living should. No sound of footfall, just a soft, wet drag, like wet canvas being pulled over stone. I ran, full panic, legs pumping, pack slamming my spine, breath ragged and loud in the silence. Behind me the dragging got closer, not faster, just inevitable. One step, pause, another. Each one felt like it landed right at the base of my neck. I don't know how long I ran. My watch was stuck at the same minute it had been when the silence first hit. Time didn't work here. Then I burst out the far end. Trees normal again. No straight line, no words. Just ordinary bush sloping down toward a gully. I collapsed against a trunk, gulping air, looking back. Nothing. But when I rolled up my sleeve later, 3 faint bruises had bloomed across my forearm. Not scratches, finger marks, deep enough to hurt when I pressed them. Stay. They're fading now, but every night I wake up hearing it. That slow, patient drag of something very tall taking another step. Closer. Always closer. And sometimes, when the house is quiet and the wind dies, I swear I can feel the corridor behind my eyelids. Still straight, still waiting, still growing a little longer each time I close my eyes.